Hello everyone, Snazzy Chapeau here, and welcome to the Omni Viewer's long overdue Q&A session. May I just say, Omni Viewer, it's about time you got around to this.
I already explained this in the announcement. The footage was unusable.
People don't want to hear your excuses. They want to hear the answers to the questions they asked. I've got the questions. Do you have the answers?
Alright, no more stalling. For real this time.
Then let's begin. Games, movies, comics, vlogs, and others asked, would you rather be in the Godzilla 2014 world or Kong Skull Island world? Or Shin Godzilla world?
Godzilla and Kong Skull Island are set in the same universe.
They are. No one cares. Answer the question.
Well, if he means would I rather live in San Francisco or on Skull Island, I guess I'll pick Skull Island. At least there's a nice little community there where the monsters can't get in. And I'm not sure I'd want to live in the Shin Godzilla world because apparently that's one of the worst versions of Godzilla. Worst in terms of terror, not in terms of portrayal. At least as far as I know. By this point, I still haven't seen Shin Godzilla yet. Soon, though. Soon.
Past Analysis asks, do you think MLP should end after the 7th season? If no, do you have any point where you think it should end? When and why should it end there?
Ah, that age-old question. Do you cut off a show before it overstays its welcome, or do you give it a chance to potentially get even better? Well, it's already been revived for an 8th season, so I really don't see the point of saying it should be canceled now. But after season 8, I guess I'd be okay with that. 8 seasons and a number of movies, both theatrical and DVD only, that's better than most shows usually get, so I guess I'd be satisfied with that.
I guess that's a good answer. Aha! This next guy asked 3 questions. Jack Hamilton asks, 1. What is your favorite and least favorite comic book film?
Favorite is both Guardians of the Galaxy movies, and least favorite is Man-Thing. Good lord, I really hate that one. Especially since I've been reading the original comics since then, and it is amazing how badly that movie screwed it up. I'm gonna have to revisit that one.
Next, in what order would you have made the DCEU films if you were in charge of them?
Well, I would have made Wonder Woman a lot sooner for starters, and probably before BVS, but that's pretty much the best I can think of at the moment.
Finally, would you rather have the Millennium Falcon or the Starship Enterprise?
Oh, definitely the Enterprise. Luke Skywalker's first impression was right. The Falcon is a piece of junk.
And there goes a good chunk of our subscribers. Okay, moving on. Fran White asks, have you seen any of the Kamen Rider series?
Well, I haven't seen Kamen Rider specifically, but I have watched The Skull Man, which was by the same guy, and apparently the original manga is in the same universe. So that's about as close as I've gotten. Skull Man's a really good show, though.
Baragon is Awesome 28 asks, how do you think life would be today if kaiju and dinosaurs lived alongside humanity?
If dinosaurs were still around today, it would probably be similar to how things are anyway, just they'd be part of the natural environment. As for the kaiju, well, it's possible we wouldn't even be around if kaiju actually existed.
Oh, I don't think it would be that bad. We get along just fine.
That's different, though.
As far as we know, Jack Hamilton... Oh, Jack Hamilton again.
Hang on, I thought we covered him. You're telling me there's more?
Yeah, he apparently had a lot of questions. So, we'll just go through them until we get to the end. First up, who is your favorite villain of all time?
Oh, that's easy. Scorpius from Farscape.
Oh yeah, more people should definitely appreciate Scorpius. Who is your most hated fictional character?
Pick anyone who's a bully, that's a pretty safe bet. I'm not that big on bullies.
Have you seen Life of Brian?
Nope. Sorry.
Hey, let's be honest, there's only one Monty Python movie anyone really cares about. Would you like to do a crossover video with Big Jack Films?
Never heard of him.
Neither have I. Did you see the movie Logan?
Not yet. Kong Skull Island took priority that month, but it is on the list.
Who would you like to be the next big bad in the MCU after Thanos?
Well, now that Doctor Strange is part of the mix, they could bring in Shumagorath. He's the closest thing the Marvel Universe has to Cthulhu besides actual Cthulhu.
Would you have liked to have seen a movie with Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, Jack Nicholson, Tim Curry, David Bowie, and Samuel L. Jackson?
I would most certainly have wanted to see a movie like that, and it's a darn shame we'll never get one.
Agreed, that would have been the best movie ever, but we've got something that's close.
I know what movie you're talking about, but we don't want to give anything away just yet.
Right, no spoilers. Do you think David Bowie would have been a good Dracula?
Oh, David Bowie would have made a very memorable Dracula.
Have you seen the 1979 Nosferatu movie? And if you have, what are your thoughts on it?
Oh, you mean Werner Herzog's version? Yeah, I have seen that. It's pretty good. Doesn't quite measure up to the original, but as remakes go, it's definitely one of the better ones.
What was the scariest film you saw as a kid?
Scariest movie I saw as a child.
Omni? Earth to Omni. Omni, you're scaring me. Snap out of it!
Huh? What? Huh? What's going on? What were we talking about?
Let's just move on. What kaiju films do you think should be made after Godzilla vs. Kong in the Monsterverse?
Well, I'd like to see Rodan and Mothra get spin-offs if they survive King of the Monsters. I'd like to see them get the rights to Gamera and Gorgo and those kind of monsters. Maybe remake The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms or them. You know, I'm open to whatever they do, as long as it's good. It had better be good.
Where would you rather live out of? North Korea or South Africa?
Even if I did want to live in North Korea, they wouldn't let me in there anyway. I do, however, have a very good friend in South Africa, which means I'd have a place to stay. So, yeah, I'll pick South Africa.
Yeah, she's nice. Who do you think is worse out of Donald Trump or Rupert Murdoch?
Oh, crud. I forgot to specify no political questions.
Too late now. Gotta answer the question.
Yeah, I guess I can't back out now. Okay, let me say this, everyone. Trump and Murdoch are only as dangerous as we the people allow them to be.
People will be debating that answer for a while. Pick Fairy asks, what's your favorite mythical creature? And you have the opportunity to guess hers as well.
I am actually quite partial to the Thunderbird and the Jersey Devil. Especially since, depending on who you ask, they might exist. And as for what kind of mythical creature Pick Fairy would like, what would someone named Pick Fairy like? I want to say the Penangalang, but I don't know if that's right.
I would have guessed Jabberwock myself, but whatever. Anime Wolf Gamer has also asked 3 questions. First up, when did you start your channel?
Oh, that's an easy one. I started in December of 2013. Actually, my first video was posted on the 1st of December. I had to take it down and re-edit it and repost it later, so unfortunately my first video that you'll see isn't on December 1st. But yeah, December 2013 is when I started.
Worst movie you've ever seen in your entire life?
Well, normally I'm the sort of person who turns something off if I really don't like it. Worst one I've ever forced myself to sit through, though, has got to be Oliver Stone's JFK. And I have a long review which will explain why one day.
Worst cartoon you've ever seen in your entire life?
I would have to say Family Guy. I really don't like Seth MacFarlane's sense of humor. Talented actor, bad comedian.
Second opinion, oh hey, that guy.
Oh yeah, he did the Godzilla cartoon crossover, not to mention the Generation 1 MLP crossover on his channel.
When's he gonna do part 2?
No idea.
One of these days he'll get around to it. He starts by saying, congrats, I'll ask a few questions in case you already got any of them. 1, who are Godzilla's deadliest enemies?
Well, obviously King Ghidorah and Mechagodzilla. Mothra for some reason, though I think those fights are always rigged. And Gigan. Gigan can actually make Godzilla bleed. That's gotta count for something.
2, which cryptozoology stories do you think are the most likely to be legitimate? Or if it's easier to answer this way, what are your favorites?
I would say Sasquatch and sea monsters. Too much of the ocean is unexplored, and too much new life is being found there every day to completely write off sea serpent sightings. And as for Sasquatch, I really do think there is enough evidence by now that a serious scientific investigation should have already happened. And I'm honestly kind of surprised it hasn't yet.
3. If a chicken had lips, could it whistle?
Oh yes, especially at the chickens with extra tender thighs.
4. Favorite Friendship is Magic episodes?
The most recent episodes are the ones currently in my brain, so I've got to say stuff like Rock Solid Friendship or The Perfect Pair, but I'll probably have to go through and actually properly rank them at some point.
5. If a steamship weighed 10,000 tons and sailed 5,000 miles with a cargo large of overshoes and carving knives and files, if the mates were almost 6 feet high and the bosun near the same, would you subtract or multiply to find the captain's name?
Huh?
Don't look at me, he asked you this question.
Well, that's an unusual one. Let's see. Sir Adam Lexington, you have any insights about this?
Master Omni Viewer, that is what you would call a trick question, for I am the original airship captain upon whom this riddle is based. Therefore, the answer would be my name.
Oh, well, there you go. It's his name. Wait a minute. How old is he?
Let's just move on. Gord Hanks asks, how do you feel about Reptilicus, one of the movies you reviewed, being one of the rebooted MST3K episodes?
I don't mind. I thought it was a good episode. There was only one joke it shared with my review, but honestly, it was such an obvious one, I'm not surprised it happened anyway.
Popman1997 also has several questions. 1. What made you decide to wear your current outfit?
Well, I've been told I look good in red. The black vest was to break up the solid red and as a reference to Blue Oyster Cult, because the red and the black is actually a song from their second album, which is split into two halves, the red and the black. And as for the fedora, I just like fedoras. I mean, not even in a hipstery way. I'm not a hipster. I was wearing fedoras before it was cool. Let me rephrase that. I started wearing fedoras because my parents held on to one of my grandfather's fedoras, and I've just liked the style for as long as I can remember.
I personally just put on a hat and call it a day, but that's me. 2. Do you prefer peanut butter or jelly?
Well, I hate peanut butter, so obviously jelly is the answer.
Who's a better character in your opinion, Batman or Superman?
Oh, definitely Superman, for a number of different reasons. Most prominent of which is that Superman just seems like a nicer guy. I could see myself sitting down and having lunch with Superman, just shooting the breeze for a little bit, because he's an open guy who wants to be a good person and get to know you. I just don't think the same with Batman. Batman's not half as relatable as people think he is.
And there go even more of our subscribers. Do you prefer Marvel or DC?
I prefer the Marvel movies, but I prefer the DC comics.
Who's your favorite Godzilla monster and why?
I'd have to say Rodan. He was always one of my favorites. He's a pterodactyl for starters, and pterodactyls are cool, and he's really smart. He's a good example of how kaiju actually can have personalities beyond just roaring and stomping on things. And a close second would be Gigon, because again, strong personality, even though it's not as admirable as Rodan's, and a really cool design, especially since he's a tooth and claw kaiju, but he's from space, and you would expect him to have laser weapons, but he doesn't. So, Rodan and Gigan.
Are there any new shows you're into, and if so, will we possibly see them in the future on your channel?
Well, I've been keeping up with all of the current Marvel Cinematic Universe shows. I intend to do reviews on those at some point. And I've been watching Star vs. the Forces of Evil. But I don't know if I'll review that one or not. It depends on where it winds up going in the future seasons.
How exactly did you meet Snazzy? Oh, you want to tell this story?
That is a very good question, but we're saving the answer for a much bigger project.
Saving it for later, huh? Well, I guess we'll let it slide this time. 8, you're amazing.
That's not a question, Popman, but thank you very much.
It happens. Disaster Studios also has several questions. 1. Is mayonnaise an instrument?
Contrary to popular belief, it can be, but only when properly tuned.
2. Does Snazzy have a waifu? Don't you dare answer that one!
Oh yes, he most certainly does. He's quite fond of Ember from My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. Aren't you, Snazzy?
I can't help if she's the only girl reptile on that show. I'll just move on. What was the idea behind the names Omni Viewer and Snazzy Chapeau?
Well, for me at least, Omni means all, and I wanted to have as wide a range of subjects to handle as possible. There are other reasons, but again, there are certain projects I'm saving that answer for.
And I should think the origin of my name would be obvious. Anyway, last question from him. Do you have a Patreon?
Ah, yeah, well, no, not at the moment, because for a very long time I didn't think I had enough subscribers to justify a Patreon account, but I am looking into it.
Wooden Sword asks, what is the meaning of life?
I'm glad you asked that question. You see, the real meaning of life is...
Who cares? Let's move on to the next question. Brett Bailey asks, what made you want to do a channel on YouTube? Also, what monster movie made you love monster movies? Thank you.
To answer that first question, I'm an entertainer, and YouTube gives me the largest potential audience I can possibly ask for. To answer the second question, I don't necessarily know what got me into monsters in general, but what got me into Kaiju specifically was Son of Godzilla. Specifically, my parents called me into the living room when I was very young, just in time to see the end of that movie, and I don't think they knew what they were starting when they did it, but... yeah, that was my introduction to Kaiju specifically, and I've been addicted ever since. And finally, you're welcome.
Those'll do. Boomshot asks, if I throw a triangle outside a window moving at the speed of White-Faced Snake, how many apples can Jesus buy with 20 human souls?
Wooden sporks and other forms of marine life should be free to frolic in as much yogurt as possible.
Yeah. XX Bill Mega XX Pokemon Sanchez asks, do you believe in Bigfoot?
I kind of answered that one earlier, but pretty much, yeah.
You live with me, what wouldn't you believe in? Herr Hintman asks 2 questions. First, how do you like the Jurassic Park / Jurassic World franchises?
Oh, I love Jurassic Park, and I'm on record saying I like Jurassic World as well. The Lost World Jurassic Park and Jurassic Park 3... they are definitely not as good, but I still own them and watch them anyway.
Second, what is your favorite Godzilla incarnation?
My favorite Godzilla incarnation really depends on the mood I'm in. Sometimes I want to watch him as a villain, sometimes I want to watch him as a hero, sometimes I want it higher quality, sometimes I want it cheesier. I don't know. I just like Godzilla.
I'm more partial to the Heisei myself. Xavier Productions asks, do you believe Godzilla vs. Kong is Godzilla 3 or a whole different movie?
Well, that really depends. I'm thinking it'll be more like the MonsterVerse version of the Avengers myself, and that we'll get a Godzilla 3 afterward. But time will tell.
Bobo Wowzer 2020 asks, who's Godzilla's true love?
Well, obviously there's got to be a female Godzilla somewhere in the South Pacific, right?
Well, Minila had to come from somewhere. Gord Hanks again.
And again I ask, didn't we already answer his question?
Guess not all of them got compiled properly. Anyway, he has a bunch of other questions. First of all, what is your favorite film?
Honestly, my favorite film depends on what mood I'm in. I know that sounds like a cop-out answer, but it's the only answer I've got.
Do you prefer Song of the Sea or Secret of Kells?
He's gonna make me choose? Oh man, that's just not fair. Well, if you were to put a gun to my head and force me to pick, I'd have to go with Secret of Kells. That is the overall stronger movie. But I don't think Song of the Sea is that far behind it.
What are your thoughts on the upcoming Cartoon Saloon movie Wolfwalkers?
It looks amazing, and I want to see it right now.
Why did you decide to become an internet reviewer?
Well, I didn't necessarily set out to be a reviewer per se, but I know that reviews are very popular. I want to be an entertainer. Reviews can be a form of entertainment when done right, and they can encourage other people to experience new entertainment. Plus, I'm the sort of guy who just likes talking about things I've seen and read and whatnot. So, I just want to entertain people, and I want to talk about what I like, or what I don't like, and that led to this.
Thoughts on Death Battle?
I don't watch Death Battle.
Neither do I. Favorite anime?
My favorite anime, which also happens to be my favorite manga, is Alien 9. I've got quite an extensive review in the works regarding this series.
Favorite internet reviewer?
Well, I'm quite partial to the reviews you do, Snazzy.
You're my favorite too. Are there any YouTube channels you think are underrated?
If there are any other channels out there doing Godzilla stuff like we're doing, they deserve more views.
Which movies are you looking forward to? Well, this answer will definitely date the video.
Well, obviously I'm looking forward to all the new Kaiju movies coming out, including Godzilla Monster Planet, though I'm still very concerned about where it's going. And of course I always look forward to new superhero movies.
Thoughts on the rebooted MST3K?
It's pretty good. I haven't seen much of it yet, but what I've seen I liked. It's weird that they kept the commercial bumpers though, considering it's on Netflix, which doesn't have commercials. But, you know, that's nitpicking.
Of the revived shows that are coming, which are you most looking forward to?
This may sound strange to some, but I am really looking forward to the DuckTales reboot, especially since watching the new opening titles.
Yeah, that opening is amazing. And finally, which Marvel stories would you like the MCU to adapt?
Oh, definitely the 12. If you haven't read the Marvel story The 12, you should. And again, review upcoming.
Good choice if I do say so myself. Adam Bozek, after a lengthy congratulation, says, "My question is, out of all the designs of Godzilla from the Millennium series, which are your favorites and why?"
I'd have to say the G2K version and the GMK version. G2K Godzilla just had a really distinct silhouette and an interesting choice of colors with the dark forest green and the light hints of magenta on the dorsal fins. And as for the GMK Godzilla, he just looked like a powerhouse. So, yeah, those would be my two favorites.
Indiana 201333 has 3 questions. 1. Do you like anime, and favorite anime if yes?
Well, as hinted by the fact that I brought up 2 anime series by now, yes, I really do enjoy anime. And as mentioned, my favorite is Alien 9.
Do you like science, and favorite scientist if yes?
Oh, science I have no problem with. Understanding the universe, coming up with new inventions to make life easier, that's all good. Scientists, on the other hand, have a tendency to be arrogant jerks who will undermine each other and deliberately ignore evidence if it doesn't line up with their own worldviews. So yeah, scientists I have a serious problem with most of the time. But I do like Nikola Tesla.
I keep feeling like your answers are costing us somehow. What is the connection between Princess Luna and Luna Moon Fang?
That's some kind of video game thing, 'cause I don't understand it.
Yeah, let's just move on. Ouija Slayer asks, what are your favorite Sabaton songs?
Ah, Sabaton. For those of you who don't know, Sabaton is a power metal band who writes exclusively about historical wars for their songs, predominantly the First and Second World Wars, but they've been branching out a little recently. And I'd have to say, everything on Carolus Rex just works. That entire album, every song from beginning to end, I could listen to that album in its entirety. One of the few albums I can actually say that about, in fact. A lot of albums, you know, skip a couple songs here and there because you don't want to listen to them really, but not Carolus Rex. I can listen to that one from beginning to end. I also like quite a few songs off of Coat of Arms and Heroes. But yeah, Carolus Rex, definitely. I know that's an entire album and not individual songs, but all the individual songs on that album.
Finally, Anna Madsen. Oh, you're gonna hate her. She asked a whole bunch of questions.
Yeah, that sounds like her.
Let's get started. What is your favorite Godzilla movie?
I'd say the original movie, GMK, Godzilla 2000, and Godzilla vs. Biollante.
What's your favorite Godzilla figure?
Please don't make me choose.
Favorite fruiterer?
No clue what she's talking about.
Favorite ship or shipper in MLP?
I can't resist putting the Doctor and Derpy together.
Favorite villain and superhero?
I already mentioned my favorite villain earlier, but favorite hero? Well, if we're sticking in the realm of comic books, I'm a big fan of Hellboy.
Favorite Disney film?
Their version of Robin Hood is brilliant.
Favorite Pixar film?
I'd say it's a toss-up between The Incredibles, WALL-E, and Up.
Favorite color?
Brown.
That's a weird answer.
It's the color of chocolate. I like chocolate.
Whatever. What does your cutie mark mean?
The one pony Sona I did draw has a question mark cutie mark. So, there's a certain air of mystery to it.
Favorite song?
Godzilla by Blue Oyster Cult, which I'm sure surprises absolutely no one.
Favorite music genre, MLP or other?
Classical music, movie soundtracks, classic rock, and both symphonic and power metal.
What do you think of alicorns?
Alicorns can be very interesting when done right.
Well, I like alicorns, I just can't eat a whole one myself. You are now have to get a tattoo. What will you get?
Well, first of all, I have no intention of ever getting a tattoo, but if I was being forced to pick one, it would either be our channel symbol or something Kaiju related. But again, not getting a tattoo.
When did you come up with the idea for Snazzy?
Well, it started way back.
I'm gonna stop you right there because you did not come up with me. Next question. You like rainbows?
Yeah, I like rainbows. Rainbows are nice. Double rainbows are even nicer. Though I don't get as excited about double rainbows as some people tend to get.
What do you do for a bar of candy? It's your favorite.
I'd pay the dollar and change it takes to get one?
For some reason, candy is in quotation marks, which makes me think she's not talking about candy. Does that change your answer?
I'm not sure I want to know what she's talking about if she's not referring to literal candy.
How many books or comics do you own? Pick a favorite book or comic out of them and show us, please.
I have nearly 100 graphic novels, and I don't even know how many books, because not all of my books are actually out at the moment. But if you'd like to know my favorites, I've got them right here. Favorite book? Dinotopia. And yes, as I've said many times by now, review incoming. And as for favorite comic or graphic novel, Planetary by Warren Ellis. This is unlike any other comic I've ever read, which is kind of ironic because it's trying to be every comic ever made. But still, again, review incoming. I'll share my full thoughts on it another time.
Questions for Snazzy?
Oh, really now?
Now wait a minute. This is your Q&A.
Suck it up, Buttercup. You've been asked questions, you better have some answers. What kind of lizard or dragon are you?
I don't know.
Again, we'll probably find out in one of our upcoming projects. Favorite pony in MLP? Favorite movie? Favorite song?
I'm quite partial to Applejack, Jurassic Park, and 2112 by Rush.
What do you think of alicorns?
I answered that one earlier by accident.
That's what you get for having your own running commentary throughout the Q&A. What do you think of the Cookie Monster?
He's a cool guy. We hang out on weekends. You should hear his king leer.
A favorite line from a movie or show?
I can quote the entirety of Spaceballs.
Top 5 best MLP episodes and top 5 worst.
Oh, I hate ranking episodes. I'll just tell you the worst one. Applejack's Day Off. End of story. Next question.
Favorite book?
Anonymous Rex. The story of an intelligent, dashingly handsome reptile living in a world of humans. It speaks to me.
Well, there we go. We've answered all the questions. I had fun doing this. What do you think? Should we do this again when we get a couple thousand more subscribers?
Oh, heaven help us if we ever do this again. Anyway, that's pretty much all the questions, so shall we end it?
Yeah, this is already pretty darn long. May as well end it here. You start us off.
All right. Thank you for your questions, and thank you for watching. Until such time as we meet again, I'm Snazzy Chapeau.
And I am the Omni viewer. Thank you for watching. You know, if you go through the questions in the same order we did and you circle every third letter, it spells out a complete and utter mess. It's really too bad there wasn't some sort of hidden message in there. You guys need to try harder next time.